Okay. Here's all these.
In fact, why this thing stops rattling.
Is it an old one?
No, this is one of the 50 that saved the show.
All right.
With the nickel primers.
This is the box that was recovered.
Yeah, those are Swanson's. JS is Joe Swanson, and that's dummies. So I mean, that's definitely, it's not what I provided because mine was handwritten. But I mean, in the end, again, it doesn't matter because we have to assume everything is live on all the belts and everything that somebody has slipped in rounds. You know what I mean?
Right. So yeah. So here are like the side views. Some have holes, and then you have.
Yeah. So it's a disaster. So this box is not indicative of anything. This might have come from the Nick Cage movie. I might have provided this previously on the Nick Cage movie. It's entirely possible. I don't remember because once it goes out of custody, though, what's what? I mean, you have no idea what it is. Yeah. So then.
So here's like a close-up of it's just going up a little bit more.
Yeah. Now, I've got a funny weird. I've got an eye thing. I've got keratoconus, so like the light bounces around, so I can't really quite see. Okay, so we've got some punch primers in there, which again, unless they rattle, they're a problem. And it's the fact that they're all mixed up is just lack of organization, right? Normally, you definitely put the punched ones in, like together. Yeah, and then, but these all look to be, well, there's one nickel one right there, right? And the rest of them, and the way these pockets are open is just weird too. I saw them, but they look to me like, all right, let me go line by line. That's, okay. Starline, I see the arc there, arc.
I think they all have. I don't think there's any that didn't have.
They're all Starline? Okay, so I thought originally you said there might have been some Winchesters in there.
Not in this box.
And some of the other ones. Okay, so, yeah, and these, that's a sale thing. Some of his in the gun belts had that. I never do that. I never have those. And I don't think Billy Ray does either.
Okay. Yeah, so these two were on the top of the cart.
Okay.
These are inspected live.
Interesting. So they didn't shake, they didn't rattle. They look to be the same bullet. This taper looks different than this taper on these, right? So the one thing is, it's very odd to have live ammo with the Starline. Like, I don't know where you would even find this stuff, right? Okay, so that was the tell.
Yeah.
When you asked me, and I said, no, Joe Swanson doesn't sell, he doesn't
live.
he doesn't sell ammo. And it was something that I thought about, and then it dawned on me something that happened 2 years ago. So that's what I wanted you to talk to the DA about, trying to keep. Yeah, I don't know. When I talked to him, in the back of his head, he goes, I wondered what would the chances be? And I said, well, do you have any load data on it? And he says, nope. He goes, he told me what. I go, what powder would you would have used? And he said Trail Boss and one other one. I wrote it down and then I snapped a picture of it. So then I got to thinking, well, I think I know where there is some still. And I called him up and he goes, yeah, I have a box and a half.
Okay.
So if we back it up, again, it doesn't matter, even if you can't connect all these dots,
Right.
she still didn't do her job, and the AD still
Which she will be,
screwed up.
yeah, I mean, at least that would answer the question of
Where did it come
where
from?
in the world.
Yeah, and bring a lot. I mean, I don't think there's anything such as closure. I mean, you know, as far as
That was the fire room.
that's the one. And that was the other thing I thought of as well, which was they never asked me for spent shells. Right? Never. There was never an instance where they said, oh, we should probably have some spent shells as well. I asked them to split out spent shells in her kit and stuff.
I think, I don't know if it was in the kit or the belts or all.
They were all over
It
the
might have
place.
just been like in a bag. I don't.
Okay, so the reason why that is because her dad has drilled it into her, save all the shells for reloading. And there's a box. I have a box too. It's not really telling, you know, other than there's a whole bunch of coincidences. I'm like, all right, well that connects to this connects to that. I found a live round in my van, which was weird, and I want to give it to you. It's not a period thing. It's a wicked hollow point, the 45 long Colt. And I was looking for my wallet. I'm like, where did I put my wallet? I couldn't find my wallet. So I started tearing through it. And on Dale's side of, you know, the news van, under a thing of motor oil, just in case, you know, you never know, right? And I look down there and I'm like, oh, there's a dummy round. And I pick it up and I look at it and I'm like, whoa, what is that? And it's, you know, like a self-defense whole thing. And I shake it immediately and I was like, oh, fucking fail. You know, like, dude, don't leave live rounds in my van. Right? And that's what happens, the shit that happens. And so anyway, his DNA and fingerprints are going to be on that round and other stuff that I have. Now, he's not related to Hannah. He's her dad, but they're not related.
They aren't?
Mm-hmm. No, he was off on a movie set, and his wife went out on him. But he never questioned that, you know, she was ever. That's why they have different names.
Okay, but it's not his biological kid.
Yeah, so if you get DNA from one or the other, it's not gonna match.
Well, yeah, I know. So this was, and this is what it was I saying that we did.
Yeah, there's no. I mean, that was the only thing. I was like, well, no, Joe doesn't sell. You know, there's just no way. Like Billy Ray would have got or anything else.
That was on a belt that we had found.
That's weird. Does that say Hornady? It says 45. Have you identified it? Century? Does it say Century? Spain? Oh, it's a plastic one.
That's plastic?
It's plastic.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's junk. They don't rattle because they're just plastic.
Really?
I don't know. Yeah, they might be cast. They're junk. It's Can I don't mind if I use my phone? Yeah. It's Dentex or
DMTX.
Yeah, let's see. Spain replicas. No, Spanish. Here we go. Denix. DENIX. Yeah, they're accepting cookies. They're a Spanish maker. They do a bunch of stuff, historical weapons, and yeah, totally fake. Yeah, there's no way it can never ever be loaded. I mean, you know, ghetto loaded, yeah, maybe. You know, let's see. And not only that, I mean, I could get you some if you wanted, because let's see, catalog here. Western American. Yeah, that's nothing at all. And from talking to Sarah, that's it.
But,
Yeah, not anything.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it just has like that line.
Oh, it did. Yeah, like a forming or casting line or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like them because. Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah, you're right. Especially in the bullet too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not anything. That's weird. I don't remember ever seeing the indentation like that on them. Yeah, I could give you samples though. I mean, in the panic, they're not bad, but the fact that they don't rattle is unsettling. Yeah, it has to have a rattle. If it doesn't rattle, it's out. And even that, you like gotta test it.
Yeah. Well, that was the one. This one was the one that was.
It looks like that right there.
Yes.
So, I mean the
Like, there's just so many with like the nickel type, but I mean, some of them, like I said, like these ones I believe didn't have a rattle.
Mm-hmm.
I think one on the belt didn't have a rattle.
Mm-hmm.
And then.
Well, Sarah said she went through like half the box, and she found, I don't know, maybe she was in a state of shock and panic, right? So, well, this is the other thing too, is his name's already going to come out because of this, right? So it's not, big deal if you load it. I mean, as a friend, you load ammo for a friend. It's not, there's no federal or state or local violation, so it's not that big a deal.
Right.
So, okay, big deal. He doesn't care. He's just like set to retire, and anyways, it's not going to make a difference to his business. I mean, he does great stuff, and he doesn't put live ammunition out on shows. Is it going to be as much as my name kind of be like, oh yeah, that's the guy? Yeah, it's like that. That's the dirty MRFer that how dare he do what he does and provide guns to movies and television shows.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's the kind of, we're just in it. So it is what it is.
Well, that'll be the medium more than anything.
It will be. I mean, but a reporter asked me, she's like, how's your reputation? I'm like, thank you. That's exactly what I need to hear. My daughter's going, great dad. So I know most people just aren't aware of like the exacting nature of reloading and live rounds too.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're talking about the weight of the type, like, there's like a million different gunpowders too?
No.
Okay, well there are. And some of them are very specific and they look completely different than other ones.
Okay.
So of the two types that Joe said he loaded 2 years ago, he goes, I would probably use Trail Boss and the other one is whatever. And I don't even know. And I said, okay, well, what do they look like? Knowing that some of them are rods, some are flakes, some are balls. And he goes, well, this one looks like a donut and it's gray. It has a hole in the center. Right? Yeah. So it's the burn rates and other, there's a whole bunch of things that they do. And for reloading, big deal. It's just like, well, whatever you can get your hands on at the time. If you can get a bunch of Trail Boss, well, then you're going to burn that stuff up and save other powder for other purposes, right? So it would have been loaded to, historically, it's 28 grains for period-specific weapons, which 28 grains is like a fraction, not even, it's such a small amount weight-wise, and it wouldn't have just been 28, it would have been 29.2, which 0.1 of a grain is so light that if you breathe on the scale, it'll register more than 0.1 of a grain. Yes, fluorescent lights, will affect the weight of the scale.
Really?
Yeah, so if you have a box and a half that went from Joe Swanson to Thale to a sheriff, and then the other stuff went to a judge, it's a pretty good chain of custody, and it's going to be, and he knows confidently that, that's the stuff I got through Thale from Joe wants them, and he has it, and he's not ditching it, right? Because nobody's like, if the chain of custody is Hannah, then that's a problem. Or Thale, yeah, and then, you know, and if she was shooting, I don't know if you've actually been able to get any statements on.
We haven't had anyone come forward.
Really? Not even the Teamster?
Well, that has like confirmed that was actually happening.
So he's saying I'll come in and talk, but he hasn't, or?
I know that there's a couple like of the camera crew members that were, but we have had like from everybody that we have interviewed, we have had no one that has confirmed that there was any target shooting or anything of the sort happening.
Okay. Well, I mean, big deal. Then she did it before. I mean, it still doesn't matter. She didn't do her job. So it's like, well, we're in for a penny, in for a pound on this whole thing. Let's see. There you go. August starts here. Sunday, August 15th.
The truck door. Who is this from?
What do you think? Just keep reading.
And what is the trapdoor?
Trapdoor's a rifle.
Okay.
And that one was not a reproduction. It was an original pre-1900 gun.
Okay. This was back in August.
Right.
So she was trying to shoot.
She wanted to shoot live ammo out of the guns, the TV movie guns. And I said, no effing way, obviously.
Yeah.
And then she acknowledged, but then down below, right, you did see where she said, okay, fine, I'm going to shoot him out of mine now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
What does she own?
She owns a 45 Long Colt of a Single Action Army. It's a reproduction.
But she owns it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, remember that in the interview, she said, oh, my dad gave me a something for Christmas.
Yeah. No, she hasn't talked about the gun but she had said something about not really shooting 45.
Didn't you listen to the interview with her? The Western one?
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were talking about my interview.
No.
I didn't mention that in my interview.
No, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, she had talked about not really shooting 45.
Right.
And that she
Bloody liar.
only really shoots 22.
Oh, my God. It's like, who are these people that have no sense of guilt over this shit? This is crazy.
So her dad gave her a 45.
Yeah, she says it in the interview. I'll send it to you. It's painful to listen to. Let's see.
When was that interview done?
In the last couple of months.
Okay.
In between the Nick Cage movie and the start of the next one. What was that? I sent it to a few people. Who did I send it to? Who sent it to me?
That's interesting.
Yeah, here it is.
Does she typically carry that with her everywhere?
She's got a Walter P22 and some piece of crap Jensen nickel-plated thing that she bought, which is a total ghetto gun. I'm like, are you kidding me? Who's that with? I was with Peter and I forced him to listen to it like three times in a row. Okay. Oh, you're here. Okay. Hold on, let me see.
Border ranch, Columbia to Tuolumne City, Tuolumne County. Now, this is one of the things I thought was interesting.
Yeah, here it is.
like he would go around killing people mercilessly, but then he fell in love with a woman, I guess.
Talking about the Nick Cage movie.
Regular bullets do, so I always try to, in order to make it look more realistic, tell the actors to create a little bit of recoil with their wrist.
Well, let me ask you this, then, because it is one of the things that people sometimes see in the.
It goes on for an hour. But in this interview, she took. That's me.
But I will say that doesn't really happen a lot, you know?
Arizona, we'll go out in the desert and I'll show you how to shoot that thing.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Of them, just the care and maintenance. I mean, it's, you know, essentially the same thing as when you shoot, you know, it's got a cartridge, but, it's just a lot more fun. Harry owns a Canon. Yeah, I have two Canon, three Canon actually. 1860s swap rifle.
Like a big cannon?
Yeah, well, it's not that big, but it's the kind of cannon that would have been found aboard a pirate ship on a. Harry used to be a pirate. Yes, I've done pirate reenacting in Civil War.
Okay, yeah, if that's what we're talking about, fuck yeah, I want to shoot a cannon.
Yeah, I mean, it is.
Maybe into the neighbor's house, I don't know.
Maybe into the neighbor's house?
Wow.
Take a trip down to Arizona, we'll go out in the desert and I'll show you how to shoot that thing.
You'll
get its attention. You know, yeah, it'll power a golf ball about a mile. You know, that's what it's bored for, is a golf ball.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't want to get hit by a golf ball, hit by a club, but it's definitely not going to fire a cannon. So I got that, and I got a smaller cannon, and got three
All right.
pistols,
Later.
two 344s, and a 36 caliber, and my SWAT rifle.
Nice. I have a potato cannon too. I'll bring this.
Okay, so she already said, put back a little bit further.
Yeah, my late son-in-law brought me a package of golf balls. He says, "Here, Dad, there's some ammo for you." Do you do your own loading?
Like loading all these guns?
Yeah, I mean, you know, like
Yeah,
cartridge loading.
she doesn't do loading, so no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I load all. Oh no, I don't load the blank.
No, I know.
I get all my stuff from Joe Swanson.
Are you a hunter? You got hunting?
A hunter? No, not really. No, I never did.
Hannah's other passion is motorcycles. Oh, really?
She talks about her.
It's pretty cool. My buddies on this one said that they were doing the next Mickey movie, and they already had armor for that, but they.
And he was like, he'd been a senator, he was a particular cowboy. His brother was a top saddle bronc rider. Cleve was just a cowboy.
At least he went doing what he liked.
Yeah, he did. He had to be happy. He drowned but happy.
Right?
That sounds good. Well, yeah, I'm
Voices of the
sorry
West.
that you have not shot more black powder firearms, because I think you'd really enjoy.
So in there, she says,
the loading.
she's talking about getting a Ruger
Just the carry
9 mm.
I mean, it's, you know, essentially the same thing as.
And she says that she's got a Walter, and then their dad gave her a 45 long Colt for Christmas.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other stuff that.
Yeah, I have two Canon.
You gotta listen to it. So I sent you the link. So the only way I think we're gonna be able to, I don't know, I mean, depending on what comes back, if they test the live ones and the grain matches, the grain and the powder matches exactly, along with the bullet weight, then you've got something, you know, especially if these things have got, one of them, the live one's got sales prints on it or hers. I mean,
Yeah, and I don't think it's more determined because I mean anybody could touch these.
it's true.
Like,
It's true.
it's not really. I don't think it's going to hold that much weight doing that kind of stuff. It's just a matter of if these, you know, do match the ones that he has, then at least you know you can track back to where they came from.
Exactly.
If not, then
Exactly. Well, then, I mean, then we know, went from Joe Swanson, Dale, to the sheriff, and then or it's out of the same batch. You never find Starline brass with that specific powder, with that grain weight, is just the possibilities that they're out there.
So does he have, like, and he doesn't have the composition of what?
Well, the powder lots too should vary.
Mm-hmm.
But the FBI, they should be able to say that comes from the same powder lot, because it's 2 years ago too. They might have changed it since then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, who would have, call the guys at Starline and say, who's been loading your stuff with, who loads your stuff for live ammo? There's just no way. When you're talking about 1/10 of a grain in the powder, and circumstantial, but still, it's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
Cause
I'm like, and then the thing with those is, I'm like, even these have like hammer strikes on them.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, so those are, dummies get used on set.
So they could.
Like what Alec Baldwin was doing. Okay, so, but instead, ideally, she had this thing, Sarah was like, what's the point of using fresh dummy rounds if they're going to be dropping the hammer on them? Because then you've got a dented primer, and then it's no longer as valuable as a round that's intact. Because this you can put in a cartridge belt, or you can show the actor loading it, or you could, have him spinning the cylinder and then catching, them going around. If they're punched, well, then that's just spent. But if they're punched, and they have to have a rattle though too, even if they're punched.
Right.
Because otherwise you might just have a bad live round. And maybe it takes one more hit to initiate the primer. So
I guess my thing is he willing to at least let us take some of those?
You can have the entire box in half.
For comparison.
Yeah. If you had your boss call his boss, you guys are happy with that. He's in Bullhead City, Arizona.
He's in Arizona.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that where all these is like the, where these are packaged? Is it in Arizona?
It's in Kingman, Joe Swanson's place. He's got a shop is an hour east of Kingman.
Okay.
So he works at his shop, brings everything back to his house, and then packages it up there.
Okay.
But
does he work for a company, or how would we get hold of him?
Joe Swanson is the guy. He probably won't. He'd be like, he won't want to talk to you guys. He'd be like, And I don't think there's any. I mean, we could get him on the speakerphone, and that would probably be the way to do it. Is just to get him to talk with me on the phone with him.
Okay.
Because he'd be like,
it's more just saying like I said, I don't foresee coming back to him. It's more just figuring out if these, or
he's not going to be able to. I mean, he just.
I think the only way that we can do that though is sending it to
get analyzed. Yep, for sure. Find out how you want to handle the rounds that the sheriff has.
That we have?
No, that the sheriff has in Arizona. The individual sheriff, not the department. The individual that has the same rounds that would have been this or any other Starline brass with that are loaded.
What sheriff?
The sheriff guy that got them from sale. The sheriff individual. How you want to secure those? I mean, you don't want to have to get a warrant. I mean, what chain of custody would you be happy with in the investigation to get a hold of them?
I mean, like I said, it's just figuring out who to contact first and what they're going to want us to do.
Well, just as far as he's willing to give them up. He doesn't want. Hannah had a hand in this. It's like he arrested Dale's son for something, felony arrest for something. He's like, do bad, get in trouble. So it's the same thing. He's like, if I could help the investigation, absolutely.
The sheriff?
Yep.
What's it,
Troy.
Troy what?
Troy. And it was Troy DeFuzz Teskey, I think his last name was.
And he's in Arizona too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's see.
So does he have them, or does...
He has them. He has a box and a half that came from the same batch that Joe made 2 years ago.
I'm surprised he even still has them.
I know. Teskey. Oh. Troy DeFuzz Teskey.
And he's still currently sheriff? Do you know which department?
Bullhead City. Wait, is he sheriff? I think that's the sheriff's department.
Hey, Seth.
Hey, buddy. You're on speaker with Alex from Santa Fe Sheriff's Department, the investigator. That don't lawyer up on me, dude.
I'm at lunch with everybody right now.
Oh, whatever. Okay, buddy. Well, I'll talk to you later about it.
Are you,
About that thing. I just,
okay.
need to get that thing from you.
Are you with somebody?
Yeah, I'm with somebody.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, call me later. All right, thanks. All right, bye. Bye.
I'm at lunch.
With everybody, so I'm like
Yeah.
probably the judge and somebody else in the background too. Even if Dale was there and his wife, it wouldn't matter. Troy would still give him up.
Yeah.
Like he's not gonna not.
Oh, I'm sure
Help.
he understands, if he's in law enforcement, I'm sure he absolutely understands. But yeah, I think if we could at least send them out to get tested,
Yeah.
then at least that would solve the question of this. And if it wasn't putting blame on the
Yeah.
camera crew that...
Oh, right. Yeah, like it's everybody else's fault? Wait, what are you saying?
Well, yeah, because, they had that camera crew that walked off the night before.
Mm-hmm.
So we can positively say, yeah, they didn't have possession of these or plant them.
Oh, somebody's offered that one up. That's the thing. Nobody would ever be able to. I mean, they'd have to, right? Well, it doesn't matter. She still didn't do her job. You have to assume that people are going to plant stuff and things are going to get mixed in.
Right.
Okay.
As you
And
should, handling.
Yeah. And so, and the AD is not supposed to do what he did at all. People are horrified with what he did. Totally unacceptable. So it's like, tracking this stuff down. It's compelling. Yeah. And the fact that it's Starline brass, and I wasn't sure what you were asking me exactly. If you said that this is the case that shot the bullet, right, this is the one, I would have gone, well, that's really odd.
Well, and that's the thing is, really right now we can't, it's suspected until it comes to the lab. So yeah,
Right.
As far as what we say, all right, well, this is obviously the only one on top of the cart that's missing its projectile, has a hammer strike.
Mm-hmm. And then, well, the residue is going to be in there. It's because Joe, when he makes dummy rounds, they're brand new cases.
Mm-hmm.
And if it were a blank, if it were even just a prime case, that would be different too. Okay, there are prime cases, but interesting, there were prime cases with the dummy rounds, right? Prime cases are used when you just need a super small effect. You can put like flour, foot powder, anything in there, and put a little piece of tape on it and stick it in the gun and use it. Like I could shoot between me and you, and it would be this a little bit close, but you get the big puff of smoke, which is the right effect.
Mm-hmm.
So, and prime cases are good for rehearsals and stuff like that, if we want to do that. Training too.
Is that different from the blink?
Yeah, because it's just the case and the primer, and there's no added gunpowder in there at all.
So it's just because of the...
Just the primer. Yep, the primer goes off, right? That normally it's the primer that initiates the gunpowder going off through the flash hole in there. So, but yeah, prime cases are like just a good training tool and things like that. So there were a number of prime cases that I gave to Sarah. And I'd be interested to see what color primers those have.
Okay.
Right? Because
pretty much just look like this.
it would look just like that. They were there. Unless they got used up.
Maybe.
They might have gotten used up, or they might have been 5-in-1 PC. If it were 5-in-1 PC, it wouldn't have been that, which is better for us, like resolving this little nightmare, right? So if that's the case, let me look. I can, without you even going into all your stuff. Sarah, 2. Blanket ammunition, dummy round, right here. Oh, and I have a picture of it too. I have a picture of what I wrote down. One bummer, it does say 45 LCPC. Yeah. 300 of them.
So it was 5 of them?
But chances are that they'll all have the same color primer, and hopefully that's brass instead of nickel, right? Separate that between the two.
Yeah, I think we're definitely well over like 600 at this point.
Yeah, easily. I supplied 9, 3, 8, let's see, that's 2,000, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29, 3,000 rounds at least.
Just for this section.
Blanks. And then that was it. Because I gave them an initial batch, and then they were shooting up. They wanted more half loads, instead of quarters for some reason. I forgot. I don't know what the justification was, like the reasoning. If you have horses or kids, use quarter loads nearby. And then if you're outside at daytime, use fulls.
Mm-hmm.
And then interior is typically quarters. So typically it's like quarters and fulls. For some reason they were going half, which is just, who knows at the distances and everything. So, all right, so circling back, and then the ballistics. So this would have modern. It's going to have they're going to be able to definitively tell you that this is the round, absolutely, because it's not going to be just have primer residue in the case. Like, oh no, it's just one of the other prime cases that went off. The rest of these all have 777 powder, which is a black powder synthetic substitute, or they're black powder, right? This is going to be modern smokeless powder. So definitely, definitively, the FBI will be able to identify that as the round, without a doubt, and match that to whatever's in the barrel. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
And that's really what we have to wait for to make that call. But as far as now, evidence believes that this was it.
But it just kind of helps you guys, like, at least focus on. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Right. Well, and then if we figure out if this is the same, if it was manufactured by
Joe,
and then it leads us away from the camera crew.
Yeah, that's what camera crews do.
They're the only ones that
That's ridiculous.
To this point have
Absolutely ridiculous. I know you have to eliminate it, but it's silly is what it is.
But of course everybody's gonna want.
I just don't know why she just doesn't come forward and say realistically and that nobody could disagree with her on the fact that working set as hell. Like, it's high school all over again, but the stakes are much higher. There's just, and it sounds like that David Hall's guys was a real piece of work. doing what he's doing, you know. It's all, you know, I mean, it's just, she could have gotten beat down. I mean, she really could have.
She's young? I mean...
Yeah. She could have got pushed around and just been like, that's why she wasn't even there at the cart. As I understand it, I keep reading like weird, read everything, but the LA Times came out and said, had an article that she brought the gun into David Hall's. But I had read that there was an affidavit that he picked it up off the prop cart.
And I don't even think that was mentioned in it.
Yeah, I mean, there's articles, so it's all over the place.
Yeah.
You can't trust anything. So.
Yeah, it's hard if they're not like direct quoting what he actually put in the affidavit.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so I'm like, well, I don't know. I mean, I want to help, you know. But I wish she would just come forward. She thinks she's going to get away with this, and it's like, you guys are negligent, both of you, for different reasons.
I mean, and that's my thing is it, you know, if you're looking at this box and loading from this box, obviously, you know, if it came from there, I think it's pretty easy to see that the difference in color, but that would kind of be a little bit of an alarm in my head.
Right. So, well, it is making sense. So if we assume, okay, that's the one that went bang, then there's another one over here with a nickel primer. Yeah, and nothing about this. I don't like anything about this. Like looking at it, the fact that to me, is that another nickel one right there? Were there two?
I think it was just I think
that
it was
one.
That one, and then this one.
Okay. So, and then suspected non-rattling rounds found in other locations as well, like her kit and stuff. Oh yeah, that's that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So non-rattling rounds were found elsewhere.
Right.
Okay.
But like I said, now knowing like this one obviously didn't know.
Right.
So figure out what that is.
The Denix
so
one.
It could be.
And the only way that this happens is if you're commingling your leather and you go out and you shoot and you. I mean, okay, if you weren't into 45 long Colt, would you have your own holster and leather thing that you did? Would you practice drawing if you weren't into it? Would there be videos of that? You didn't find any videos of her drawing?
I looked for like TikTok videos and.
Have they not gotten back to you, like the Facebooks of the world with the information?
So they don't reach out to us. We would have to reach out. Do you have any of Hannah's social media?
No, I'm not on any of it.
So and then there's the other thing is that I'm not finding her social media.
Oh, really? Well, what do you have to hide? Why would you turn it off? Well, I'll tell you, there's all kinds of videos and stuff in this routine. Yeah,
I've seen like the photos and stuff.
One of them I think is her gun.
But it's a matter, if I don't have, or if nobody knows of any of her social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
And you're not able you're not able to get warrants for that information, for electronic information?
So I'd have to have her, user account.
You're kidding me. What a pain in the ass. No wonder she thinks she's going to get away with it.
So, I mean, if I had something that said, this is her account, or somebody that says, yeah, this was her Facebook, I mean, trust me, we've looked.
And you haven't been able to find it? Not even in, the history of...
So she deletes the account?
Really?
I can't. If I can find a username, an old username, say if somebody screenshotted her, URL, because the URL is very specific to the person. The username is specific to you. But if I can't locate any of that, then it does me no good. And that's why I think I had searched for an Instagram and it was deleted. But
What a dirtbag.
you know, with that being said,
There we go. You can't look it up on different email addresses and stuff like that. Troy to Fuzz. Troy. Okay, you're back on speaker. Yeah, I'm serious, dude. What? What?
You're serious? I'm serious?
No, I'm serious. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm with Alex. Say hi, Alex.
hello.
This is Alex. She's with the Santa Fe
Hello.
Sheriffs. Yeah. And Troy, you're with Bullhead Sheriff's Department, right? Bullhead City. City Police. It's not a sheriff's thing. Okay. Okay. So the box and a half of ammo. The box and the reloads that came. What do you have? Two boxes. And
they're full. I mean, one is taped shut. It hasn't even been opened. The other one I opened, and
yep.
I don't believe I took any rounds out of it.
Who?
I think it's still completely full.
But when I talked to Joe, he said he did it in bulk.
It wasn't full.
He just made the rounds and gave them to sale, and that was that. Like, you could just put them in a bag or a box or something.
Well, it may have been a ammo can.
So then who boxed them up?
I don't know. Those just came. Those are given to Sal. And Sal just gave them to me because I have a better house for safety purposes.
But are they they are in the all white boxes, right?
Well, cardboard. They're cardboard boxes. Now, the ammo, I still have some blanks in the all white boxes, the small all white boxes.
Yeah. So the live rounds aren't in the all white boxes, and they're just jumbled in like a box of cardboard, like, and you can guess there's like 100 in there in each box, or what?
They come in different ways. I've seen them in a big ass army metal.
Yeah, ammo can. Yeah.
I've seen that, and then I've seen them in these cardboard boxes that are about 3 inches high, 5 inches wide.
How many rounds did you get from?
And they're just taped shut.
And that was a couple of years ago. Like hold on, my daughter's calling. Hold on. So how many and you got them from sale a couple of years ago?
Well, I didn't get them. I take care of his stuff. Because I have.
Oh, right.
So he brings me stuff and say, hey, hang on to this. He's not giving them to me. He's just letting me. I just watch them.
Yeah.
I guard them basically.
Right, I'm with you.
Because his house is not all that secure, so he brings them to my house.
Right.
He brings stuff, things like that.
I got you. Can I have some of them?
Well, actually, can I have some of them?
What?
They belong to Sal.
So we need a warrant to get them?
To get them.
Yeah.
You want to take all the rounds I have?
I want a dozen of them.
You want to?
Yeah, give me a dozen of those rounds. You know, Sal owes me $3,000, right? I want some of those rounds.
Well, you got to run that through by him. Not by me.
He's never gonna give them up, dude.
Ask him. Well, they don't belong to me.
I'm with you. All right. It's all right. It's just a 42-year-old woman that's dead.
Well, yeah.
So those rounds are likely were made of the same batch that were found amongst Hannah's shit.
Well, there's no way you'd be able to ever figure that out.
Yeah, you would. Put your FBI hat on, dude. If it's a certain powder and of an exact certain weight, grain, right? And then they can analyze the powder that it was a batch that was made a couple of years ago. It's going to be different than what they're making today.
Well, I don't know exactly when those things were made.
A couple of years ago.
Well, I don't. I think I've gotten those since a couple of years. I don't think they're that old.
Mm.
There was ones in the ammo can might be that old.
The last time Joe gave Thale any rounds, it was 2 years ago.
Oh, it was?
Yep. And Joe's got a really good memory. I have to ask him what I'm forgetting.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, pretty much we're trying to narrow down exactly, you know, if what was used matches the composition of those, then at least we can, you know, say this is where it came from.
Oh, so you haven't proven that it came from Joe?
No, well, I mean, it's dude, it's really, the brass is really weird. It's, you know, it's Starline brass. Nobody makes ammo out of Starline brass. I mean, it's just such an uncommon thing. You just don't find it. Right? It's got a star, and then an arc, and then a star.
Okay. So you just want to see if these rounds have that star line, if they're made out of the Starline deal?
Yeah.
Well, I can look at one and tell you.
Well, no, of course, yeah, send it, will you send me a picture? Because if they're not that, then there's no point. We're talking about apples and scarves.
Yeah, if they're not, then, I mean, that's...
Yeah. Yeah, we can take a picture. Huh? What? You'll see it. It's opposite. It says 45 Colt on one side, and on the opposite side, it has the star, the arc, and then the star. Yep. If you can take a picture, that'd be awesome, dude. Okay, thank you. All right, thanks, buddy. All right, bye. All right. Cool. Because then he's like, dude, why do you give a shit about protecting your buddy's dirtbag daughter?
Well,
I mean,
I guess
I've got the world's fastest gun that ever lived that I'm about to piss off. The guy is scary fast, even at 78. He's like freaky fast. He's the last living original combat mouse there. I mean.
And then, that's really as he said, those are the options. It's pretty much either, let's say it does look like these, and.
Copy. Okay, I'm gonna look right now because I wonder if she hired somebody to scrub her. Okay, so I've got a funky email. Do you have Hannah's email address?
No.
Okay, I'm doing a search.
Which I think you should have been in on those threads with Alex Holden, right?
What threads?
With him picking up guns.
What thread? What?
Hannah was emailing Alec about his gun choices.
No, I've never talked to Alec. I've never been in the thing.
In the.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean it's. She was trying to. Why is it coming up in Spanish? Yeah, buddy. Hey.
Hey, just in case you're sitting around waiting for a picture,
Right.
not at home, it's going to take an hour and a half maybe to get home.
Boring. I'm not going to wait around the police station for you to do that though.
No.
Unless they've got a cocktail hour here.
I wish. So I guess my thing is, so they still belong to her dad.
How long did he leave with you? I think I'm sensing an abandonment here.
I don't know. I don't know. Every week he comes in and I don't know how the boxes he gave to me at some point. and I didn't think it was 2 years ago, but the ammo can comes and goes. We used to take it up shooting all the time.
I got you. All right, well, just in an hour and a half time, if you can just snap a picture, because otherwise, it's like, if it comes up like Federal or Winchester or whatever, then there's no point. But,
Well, I'll take a picture of whatever it is and then send it to you, but I'm just saying.
right, I mean,
Or if you have any of those like these.
And that's what they are.
yeah, I got you.
So I don't want you guys waiting around for this picture.
I think you should rush.
Shopping.
I think if you arrest Hannah, then you just, you punch that ticket, right? Arrest his son and his daughter. That'd be awesome.
No, I really don't want to do that.
I know you don't.
I was going to happen this last week. It was my beat that she was in.
Oh, what happened?
Here I go.
What happened?
No, that's where she was.
Oh, she was in your area. Why did you? All right.
I just have news crews running around.
Okay.
And me sending you guys out there.
Comment from everybody.
Right. Yeah.
So if you have any that match that star line though, can you
Yeah. Just take a
hold on to them?
They might be mixed in there because if they're reloads, dude, they're going to be mixed in all the cases. Okay.
Well, one I haven't even opened, but one is open and it's.
Okay. All right. Well, let's. Yeah. Give me.
Through that.
Yeah. Shoot me a picture. All right. Thanks, buddy.
Remember Starline?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, buddy. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hold on, let me see. Okay, it's important, but are you working? To investigation or the meet.
So how did this come up to where, like, this
Donnie, because it's really an uncommon. Starline is not out there. And it was like, wait a second. Hold on, let me think. Okay. I'm not going to tell him he's on speaker, but I'm going to call him. Joe Swanson. Hey, buddy. Super quick question for you. What box, that took a couple of years when you gave sale at ammo, what box did you put it in? Was it a cardboard box or was it?
No, it was he gave me an ammo can.
Okay. Ammo can. All right. Let me call you back a little bit later. Okay, bye. Shit. Oh, she still didn't do a goddamn job.
You know how many rounds you made in total?
He said about 700.
Yeah. I think.
Shit. I'm like, oh my God. Well, I mean, still Troy.
I mean, we can always get a warrant. Use it. It's not.
Let's then take a picture, and
If it is.
and then.
Has he made any since then?
No.
Oh,
Two years.
pretty-
Yeah, it's pretty. But what I think Troy is saying is that ammo kind of comes and goes,
Right.
and that's just the way the deal is. But
Even if
I have
warrant.
Dale's fingerprints. I mean, all over a binder. And if Dale's fingerprints are on these live rounds, then you know that the film. Well, somebody would have to. Let's see.
But the thing is, if they've been held by so many people,
Yeah, you're right.
then it would just be really hard to pull DNA or fingerprints if that's the case. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
impossible, but I mean, we have multiple.
You know what's funny is I'm gonna find her social media. There's just no way. She has to have said it or done something.
Yeah, I'm still looking in hopes. But if someone has their email, that email may have been used.
Right, which I have, and I'll send to you.
To set up an account.
Yeah.
Sure you don't want to just become a cop?
No. You kidding? All my cop buddies are like, they're all at LAPD.
Yeah.
And one of my childhood friends, he was a PO, and yeah, I mean, they're all like, oh, we're done. It's going to be out there somewhere. It's unless she hired like a cleaning crew to like purge all of her information off the internet. Yeah, that is weird. It looks like she's got a middle name, HMG.
Yeah.
What else was I thinking? So I can find out. Yeah, like, oh, a disgruntled camera crew. They'd have to have loading equipment and everything. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, because pretty much it'd be weird for them to be making these.
But it still doesn't matter. They didn't have custody of the gun. She still didn't do her job, and the AD didn't do his job. It still doesn't matter. Like, we just assume, like I was saying, we just assume that.
Yeah. I mean, and unfortunately with investigations, there are times that you don't answer every question.
Right.
But we try.
I hate these kinds of problems. You can't quite be like, oh, we're just missing that one, or there's like a variable in there.
That one.
Yeah. So, the shot round, 2 live rounds on the cart.
Possibly.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, why is that one not in this picture? You've got here, but then you've got 2 rounds over here.
This was, they're just like thrown on the cart.
On the cart?
Yeah, not in the box.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Well, so they would need, okay, so if you were the camera crew and you wanted to, send a little going away present, you'd need to get a dummy round. You'd have to punch the primer. Okay, so that's the question we didn't know is what the prime cases that I sent to them, if the primers were nickel or they were brass, right? So that would be important to know, because then if you somehow gained access to those things, that would be the easiest thing to do, is to get those. You could also get a hold of some blanks, cut them open, put the powder in there, and then use a hammer or something, or even sidewalk and jam the bullet in there. And you got a round.
Oh, like somebody was manufacturing them?
Mm-hmm. Even on the cheap, even on the FU cheap. Like, if I wanted to do that, I'd be like, oh yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
I can figure it out.
Camera crew has the knowledge to do that.
Right. Yeah, who would, yeah.
That's the other thing with it. With carrying gunpowder around in their pockets.
Right, but chances are it's going to come back It's going to come back as modern smokeless, not 777 or the black powder that is in those blanks. So, yeah. But these ones, bugger. She still didn't do her job. I'm wondering if there's a way, like even from the case length, bullet weights, things like that.
See what I have. Email?
I mean, these were loaded. There's no doubt these were loaded on a machine.
I
Like
see.
we'd see scarring on there, on the bullets. So they were properly loaded.
Okay.
So there's no way, and there's no way to say like, oh yeah, we know she's gonna pick from this section when we've got this kind of crap going on. And certainly with Sarah's memory is not accurate, because they said, so the box was full. I asked her, I go, so the box was full, and maybe that's why those ones were just thrown on the cart, because she rattled them.
Okay.
And then she was like,
I'm going to piggyback.
these aren't rattling.
Thursday, I have 2 body
Set them, throw them aside.
And I'm going to have body language on all the accounts.
Where did she start from? So that's 6,
and it'll be on a live
1, 2, 3, leaving 3
So
spaces here, but this is crazy too.
That's my goal. Because I got to get it to them all ahead of time. So it'll take less time.
Yeah, she's not coming forward. She thinks she's going to outsmart this thing, delete all her social media. You've not seen any videos or anything, huh?
I've found like one TikTok of her.
What's she doing?
Like I think in her bedroom or something of the sort, and with like some hair flip.
My daughter giving me the bird. Nope.
And there may be other, there may have been other rounds on the top of, I think there was other rounds on the top of the car. It's just, these guys were our primary focus.
He's on. I've already talked to him about it. He's not even bothering with it. The guy's nuts. He's. I know, but for body language, it's almost like the worst thing. Because how do you get, what's his baseline? You know what I'm saying? It's like he's such a weird freakazoid. I'll talk to him.
Yeah, so
I got other friends, like maybe get Greg or something, but he is genuinely nuts.
What did that come off? Or did she just send it to you
I took it.
Oh.
It was when Dale and she were up prepping for the Nick Cage movie.
Okay.
Is this on Twitter or where
What
you
I'm
send it?
thinking is, I don't know, something she's
A text.
I haven't even read the text stream
no.
between the 2 of us.
I haven't got anything.
You know.
Has she reached out to you at all since this?
I'm sorry.
No, not after she sent me the F-bomb laced text messages.
Oh.
Was that after the incident?
It's before the incident.
Oh.
Yeah.
What was that about?
She was just being an idiot. I wanted Sarah to get rid of her. I was like, she's not doing what she's supposed to do. Not on the gun side, it was on the prop side. And I'm like, it's bullshit. She's got 5 days when the guns go bang. What is she doing the rest of the
Do we
day?
want to do this Friday, or do we want to do a?
And like, she wasn't helping Sarah, like, even like run and grab stuff. And like, Sarah was just like overly nice. I'm like, dude, get rid of her. We'll find you another armor.
Either one,
You know?
because I'm thinking, give it
So
a
is she
turnaround.
mad that you were?
James is
Well, what happened was when Sarah had the accidental discharge, which, by the way, she did not shoot herself in the foot. I called her this morning. I'm like, did you shoot yourself in the foot? She goes, no. She's like, I think I pulled the mech out, like I could feel it, you know. Okay. So what it was is that she was trying to take advantage of that situation
That'd be a good one for Friday, or to push.
to like punch down on Sarah to say, oh, I don't even think they're going to have you handle the guns.
Okay, so did you send me the
anymore.
link to the
Like, they're not
crazy
gonna let you
professor, or
you
is
have an
that
accidental
still?
discharge?
Or just go find the professor?
And she wanted to tell the producer, oh, you know, it was just, she was making a mountain out of nothing. And
Do you know if
Okay.
Hannah loaded the gun on that accidental
Yes,
happened?
sir.
no, it was Sarah.
Okay.
She was loading it.
All right.
And so basically I said, I'll tell you what I wrote her. And I was just tired of it because Sarah's like she's like a super gentle, she's like a Bambi. She's the Bambi of the, you know, but she's also got a great work ethic. And Hannah's just kind of like, you know, rough and like, dude, just put it away, you know, attitude and the rest. And I'm like, you're not going to try to run over her. I go, and I had to make it real clear, you know, hey, Sarah's your boss. Where is it? Anyway, I mean, if I think of anything relevant, of course, I'm going to share it with you,
Okay.
even if it's like.
So Sarah's like her boss, but she's not really like employed.
Well,
by
it's like
her.
having like a pussy boss, right? You know, at the same time, yeah, she's not. Yeah,
She's not her employer though, and neither are you guys.
exactly.
She's just licensed under you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is how this is not like something I invented. This is something that's just been that the ATF came up with, and they're like, yeah, this is how we like it. Yeah,
And she's not really employed by a company either. She's just.
They are the full-time employees of the production company.
So once the production's done, then
That's it.
she's done.
It's done. You're done. And then a lot of the film companies, they'll start up a company, do the project, and then kill the company, and then they'll start it up again. So as employees of all these different production companies, you never have the same employer. It's just like total gypsies.
Yeah.
This is October 16th. Sarah told me, or I misspelled it. I said Sarah texted me she had an accidental discharge. Happens to everyone, move on. Like, you know, don't start punch down there. Move on, question mark. I'm not having a problem with it. It sure doesn't look good though. And I said, accidents and mistakes happen. Accidental discharges are accidents. Mistake is where the armor provides a gun and a full load of ammo to be fired with a horse in the vicinity. Will you tell production about that? We learn to move on, and don't forget, she's your boss. Don't push it. Like, you know, I'm just like, dude, I'm not going to put it. And then she just comes back with like a full F-bomb lace. And I'm like, yeah, we're done. Yeah.
And you couldn't. I mean, Sarah has to be the one to say like you're done. You couldn't.
Yeah, it's not really. I mean, I could have said she's not to touch, you know, PDQ inventory, but the problem is that I was told she was doing a good job with the guns. Like the director and Sarah and everybody, she's like, no, she's really good with the guns. And I'm like, okay, and I'm like, whatever. I mean, it's Hollywood. Everybody's got their own style. I mean, I've got mine, and she's certainly, you know, Hannah certainly has hers, but so because I don't really jive with a lot of the filmsters anyways.
Right.
You know, a lot of them are just, and they hate the gun guy too, usually. So, because they're like, you know, some kind of
authoritative position.
I don't know what it is. Now I'm like, now it's like there's more fear than anything else on set.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to check the gun. Come on, let's go. All at once, please. Thank you. All right. Well, if I think of anything, I mean, once Troy sends me the picture.
Yeah, let me know when he gets
I think
back to you.
I think we're screwed if if they're not Starline, we're screwed.
And he only, I mean, that's what I think. He didn't give him any boxes or that one box. And he doesn't know, well, unless he can determine what he used to make them.
He can't remember. I mean, it was Trail Boss. I remember because it sounds cool. Trail Boss. Round flake, hole in the middle. And tank group, graying color, ball type. You gotta go.
No.
3 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't run.
Yeah, well, I wake up thinking about this stuff.
So that's one potential.
Yeah, if it's one of those two.
What is it, Trail Boss or what was it?
Trail Boss or Tight Group.
Tight Group.
Are
those still companies that are producing?
Yeah, he would have. Yeah, that's a good point. See, there you go. Now you're thinking. Let's see. There's no doubt we can definitely 100% trust Joe's memory. There's no doubt about that. The guy's super sharp. 70-something years old, but like I said, I have to ask him, hey, what am I forgetting? I'll end up waking up in the middle of the night going, oh yeah, I got it, but I can't think of anything right now.
Okay. Well, what you do?
It definitely came from a previous show. Didn't come from Billy Ray. Because Billy Ray sent out 3840 and 4440 dummy rounds.
What does this box look like this?
And yeah, you know what? And look at the age. This thing's been beat to crap.
Yeah.
And it's had a bunch of stuff in and out of it. That's very telling as well. This box has been around. Yeah, and Billy Ray's were brand new. And the one I sent out looked fresh. But it could have happened between the point I sent it, if this is the kind of crap she was doing.
That's a little weird on the styrofoam.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
A couple weeks, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, that's you hitting it against the cart right there and stuff like that. And the edges are all beat to crap. That one too. The box that I sent out, that's the one. I'm like, has the gaffer tape across it, and then my handwriting in blue Sharpie, at least on one of the sides. I don't know, so maybe, and I might have even flipped it around and wrote on the back side of the box too.
I think the big thing though is the fact that obviously
That's
those aren't common to.
Yeah, that is. I mean, it should have. That's another. Look at the rest of the box. The rest of the box are dummy rounds, and you put something that's obvious that really, and she might sit there.
Starline brass.
Yeah, and she might have said, "Oh, I was under a lot of pressure and all this other crap," when she wasn't. She wasn't doing. I mean, there's that letter in her file about that.
In the statement she made.
No, about the fact that she wasn't doing her props work. She was hired as an assistant prop master, and she just wasn't doing it. So, anyway, all right. So now I just want to sit down with a drink and see if I can figure out
her statement of the fact that she was hired to do, dual roles isn't really.
No, she was overworked.
She wasn't helping Sarah.
She wasn't at all. I mean, I could, there's going to be stuff in my text message streams and things like that about Sarah starting the issue of it early on, being a problem early on.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Sarah will come in this week.
She said I talked to her this morning, and she said she's calling her attorney to say she wants to come in and talk. I'm like, dude, I told him.
She
Why are
texted
you
me
getting-
yesterday.
Why are you being an attorney? This is just you're wasting your money, you know? Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, and that's because she was gonna come in on Friday and speak with me, and then her attorney called me. So we'll see when she.
Where did they put their social media? Where did they put it? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else for me? I didn't cry, so I didn't need that. I looked at that, I walked in. That's depressing.
Well, unfortunately, many people who have very difficult things, so I'd
Well,
rather keep it in
I'm not saying I haven't had nothing but dry eyes, but so.
here. All right. Well.